Hi, everybody. Before we start the show, I want to invite you high-achieving women to my summer series, and this is what it is. So it starts July 18th, and it's going to go for 4 weeks, and it's 4 open coaching calls with different topics. And all the information will be on the show notes and anywhere you can find me on social media, but I'll explain a bit here. Because over the years, I have spent thousands of dollars with coaches to learn time management, to learn how to decide my life, create more time, create more money, what it looks like to be fulfilled and have true happiness, how to have deep connection in relationships with myself, with my partner, with the people in my life, what that looks like with my daughter. And I am giving it all to you for free. You can come to one of the calls. You can come to all the calls. You can come and just listen. You can opt to be coached on something you're struggling with. The link to register will be in the show notes, and all the dates and times will be in the show notes. But it is time, it is money, it is deciding your happiness, and it is about deciding your relationships. And I wanted to do this because I want to fast track you. I want you to understand that you have all the power to live happier, more fulfilled, create the money you want to make. If you're wasting time, how to fix that. I don't want you to go through what I went through. And so I'm giving it all away to you with 4 sessions, and more information will be in the show notes, but I wanted to just stop by and tell you what's happening for this summer, and hopefully I'll see you there, and let's get on with the show. You are listening to the You Get to Decide podcast with your host, Allison Cratchola Gallagher, episode number 6. Welcome to the You Get to Decide podcast. This is your life and business coach and host, Allison Cratchola Gallagher. I help all you high achievers out there feel content and confident so that you can feel happy now. Then you're just going to go out and create the life of your dreams faster. Through my journey, coaches have helped me completely transform my life, and now I get to help you do the same. Every week, we're going to talk tools, tips, and tricks to help you take consistent action based off the life you want. Because you really do get to decide your life. And I am here to remind you of that every week. So let's get started. Hello. So we can't have a podcast that is called You Get to Decide without talking about decisions. And I want to ask you, and if you do this, I want this to become an awareness. Who are you handing your decisions over to? Okay. And this is a deep topic and can go in a lot of different directions, but I'm going to try to keep it, contained, because making decisions is connected to claiming our authority is what I wrote down. And I wanted to say that. And some of us have a tendency to go outside of ourselves for answers that are best for us. Male and female, though I see women doing it more, and I think it was instilled in us to go outside of ourselves because we don't know what is, we just don't have the confidence that we know what's best for us moving forward, okay? And these are decisions for our own life that we don't think we know what's best for us. And I think a lot of us do this, men and women, and we're not aware because it's instilled in us to go to our parents. It's instilled in us to go do research. There's people in my life that will research for months before they make a decision. Well, their brain is probably telling them that that's the safest way to make a purchase, or whatever is the driving reason for why they do what they do. But their brain is offering them that that's the right decision. My brain does not offer me that. I don't have to travel outside of myself for months to make a decision. But I do go outside of myself, and I did do that. I mean, I remember, maybe I went on, my husband, my dad describing to me what kind of man I should marry. And then I married someone completely different. Once my dad realized who I was dating, he fell in love with my husband. And he was nothing like who my dad thought that I should date. Right? He did not. I thought he knew what was best for me. He did not. I went to him for my business. What should I do for a living? I mean, it was just something I felt was the right decision at the time. Thank God I did not listen. God bless my father. He's gone, but he did his best, but he didn't know what was best for me. So if you are, I hope that this podcast, if you're not sure that you do this, I hope it creates awareness, enlightenment. Nothing has gone wrong. I don't want you to freak out and judge yourself about this, but just be aware and then take steps to change it, right? Because it goes back to you get to decide. Mom doesn't get to decide. Your partner doesn't get to decide. Your children. You know, some people go to their children for advice. They think their children know better for their own life than they do. And so I just wanted to ask you, are you going to other people? Are you pondering what your parents would do? Or are you sitting in, I don't know, because you don't have faith in yourself, right? You don't feel that you have the authority over your own life to make decisions for what is best for you. And this came up because I'm in all these big Facebook groups and I see these people asking things anonymously about major life decisions. They're asking 30,000 strangers about a life decision that they should make. And I don't know what their purpose is, and I don't know these people, obviously. But I think if you're asking 30,000 people, who else in your life are you asking about how many children to have? How many children to have? And I just wanted to, ask this anonymous person, do you like your reasons why you're asking this? I need to know. I want to know your reasons of why you're asking 30,000 strangers, moms, direction on how many children to have. I just wanted to hug this woman and tell her she gets to decide. And who else in your life are you asking? Right? Because everybody's going to give you a different answer based on their values. Right? I think about, what about the business you want to start? Divorce, whether you should get a divorce or you're thinking about divorce. Who are you talking to about that? Or having children, right? I have one daughter. People have a whole lot of thoughts about that decision. There's people that have said to me, poor Julia, she is just going to suffer through life. Well, that's their thoughts. Whatever, they might value something different than me, right? Or you have a list of values, but there's one that's at the top, okay? And for me, I wanted to make sure that I was emotionally available for my daughter, for my children. My priority is her well-being, her mental health, her emotional well-being, her confidence. That is top. Any children that I bring into the world, that is my priority. And I wasn't sure I could be fully capable, I'm going to put myself out there in a vulnerable way and share. I wasn't sure I could be that present for more than one child. And it was top priority to me to raise someone who had reflect self-love, confidence, resilience, compassion. All those things were my top priority. And I was afraid if I had more than one, that I would not be available and that I'd raise two miserable children. And my priority was to raise a well-adjusted human that I could be fully present for. That's my values, okay? That doesn't mean someone else doesn't have those values, but they might have a bigger value. That family, big family, is more important to them, okay? That's not on my list. I'm not better, I'm not less, I'm just different, okay? And some people, if I went around and asked all these different people about how many children I should have, some people, I talked to some only children parents because I did go outside of myself. I mean, I had made the decision at that point, but I started to get curious. Oh, you're an only child. How was life? Some of them were like, man, I had a rockin' childhood. Life was great. No big deal. It was awesome. And then I talked to some only children that are like, it was terrible. I would never do that to my children. Right? And then I sit in embarrassment and regret. No, I trust my reasons. My husband and I made that decision together, but I do believe if he was married to someone else, he would have more children. But we made that decision together based on the life that we wanted and the children we wanted to raise. And I have to have my own back for that decision. And I've had long conversations with Julia. I could instill in her that she's a victim, that, oh, I'm so sorry, honey. You're going to suffer through life. It's going to be so hard. I don't do that. I say, Julia, you're going to choose your family. You get to choose your family. You get to decide who you call family, because I didn't give you family. I didn't give you siblings. So you get to create your circle yourself. That's creating empowerment, right? That gives her power. I'm not going to instill pity in her. So most likely in her life, there's going to be challenges with not having siblings, 1,000%, but you'll figure it out. You're strong. You're tough. And instilling that in her serves her way more. If I was to go out and start asking all kinds of people and then feeling doubt in my decisions, it's going to come out of my mouth to her. I'm so sorry I did this to you, honey. No. Nothing has gone wrong. There's a reason that Julia is an only child. There's a reason for that. And it's all good. She's going to be fine. Right? But then, so if I go outside of myself and ask billions of people what to do, I'm not going to trust my reasons. And then I'm going to have doubt when there's challenges. Right? So what if you are pondering divorce and you think talking to your parents about it is a good idea, but your parents don't value divorce? Well, how's that conversation going to go? They might try to talk you out of it, or you tell them you're getting a divorce and they're not aligned with it. You walk away from that conversation feeling like shit. You went there to ask them for advice and they made you doubt your choices. Meanwhile, your values don't align. It's okay if a parent's values don't align with yours. It means nothing other than you're different. You're different. So if you are going outside of yourself, our brains are going to tell us we have to ask all these people to get the answer. Right? But that just creates more pain. That creates more doubt. That gives us evidence that we need to go outside of ourselves. And then we just sit in confusion. When I saw that in that Facebook group, I started to think, gee, these people are going into these Facebook groups anonymously and asking thousands and thousands of people major life decisions. And I just would love to say, what are your reasons for doing this? If you love your reasons why you're asking and you're looking for solid advice in this direction, fine. But if you're spinning because you don't have authority, you don't have faith in yourself, you don't trust yourself, then let's try again here, right? Let's start again. Let's make another choice. And I see so many people doing this from a place of not enoughness, from a place of no faith in yourself. I want to instill in Julia to go inside of herself, intuition, practicing intuition. I practice intuition, and it does take practice. But I love what Marie Forleo, in her book, Everything is Figure Outable, she talks about doing this exercise because sometimes fear feels like you're moving in the wrong direction. I talked about this in another podcast, right? So think about moving in one direction in your life, and how does that feel in your body? Versus moving in another direction in your life, and how does that feel in your body? I did this because there was a road that I was at in my business, and I didn't know which road to take, okay? But it takes practice. I would practice with little decisions and look at the results. You can make a decision and decide you're going to be good on the other side regardless. Like I did experiments with feeling in my mind, I'd envision moving in one direction in my business. And she talks about in the book, do you feel restriction? Do you feel closed off versus do you feel invigorated? Because sometimes we think it's fear, but it might be some type of invigoration. And she talks about all those feelings, and it's so important, especially when we want to go within to make decisions. Our body holds all the answers. What if we knew what was best for us? I love to think I know what's best for me. Or if I do research, I love my reasons for why, because I trust my decision. So I'm going to go read this book and see, right? Or I'm going to go to people that are aligned with what I'm doing, my goals, my visions, in order to get advice that are farther than me in most cases. There's a very small circle of people in my life that I go to for advice. And I'm grateful that one of them is my husband, but I don't go to my husband for all of my business decisions. No way. I learned a long time ago that's not his MO, and that's okay. There are some things where I'm like, you know what? I am going to go to my husband for this because I know what his values are, and I want to hear what he would say to me, right? So I love my reasons why I'm going to him for that. Right? I have coaches. I have a very small amount of people in my life that I'm going to go to for specific things. I honestly just did this where I could tell I was coming from a place of doubt. Okay. I called someone who I didn't talk to in a while about some advice for some choices that I want to make in my life. And as I was dialing, I was like, you know what? I'm doing this because I don't trust my choices. That's why I'm doing this. I knew. And once we got on the phone, we started to talk. And any resources or any decisions that she was trying to make for me, which I was asking her to do, I'm like, you know what? That's not the right fit. That's not the right fit. That's not the right fit. What I'm doing is working was the proof. And I was like, oh, that's right, Allison. You went outside of yourself again to make a decision. Deep down, I knew making that phone call wasn't right or wasn't what I needed to do, but I overrode, my brain was like, you need to ask her. You need to ask her. And I believed it and I did it. Then I was like, you know what? I got off the phone. I'm like, you're on the right road, Allison. There was doubt there, but you did that thing again that you do. You go outside of yourself to make your decisions. But I knew I did it, and it was proof to me that I was on the right road. Instead of coming from a place of insecurity and then doing everything she said and spinning. That I knew wasn't the right fit for me because I've done so much work on me and what I know are my values and what's aligned with who I am and where I'm going and from my past too. I'm moving in a direction that only I know some of the history that I've had. And so this was something that I definitely felt I needed to talk about, especially when it comes to you get to decide your life. Well, when you are deciding, who's making those decisions? I want to make sure they're coming from you. I did this with my studio. I sat because I had a studio in my downtown for 5 years. And something did not feel right in my studio. And I was like, what is happening? So I went inside my body. And I went inside my body and I was still a little confused, but I did feel restriction when I found myself thinking in the future, a year, 5 years. I felt restriction in that studio space, thinking about it. And then when I thought about moving in a different direction away from that studio, I felt excited and light. And I was so confused by that. I closed my studio, but I did some spinning in those months. Not trusting my choices or making them mean all kinds of things. And I will definitely go into that in another podcast and the story of quitting, But I meditated on it and I went inside my body because I was like, oh, my dream is to have a big portrait studio. I am moving in that direction. Everything should feel fine. And it stopped feeling fine. And I've changed. I'm a different woman. I have different goals today. Nothing has gone wrong, but it took me some time to get to that point. But I started out going inside my body. This is what I want to teach Julia, intuition, trusting herself. By doing that, you have to allow your children to make the decision based on what they think is best for them, and then having their back in the result on the other side. And I try to do this with her. I imagine if she goes to college, or when she leaves the house and goes as an adult, and I no longer have jurisdiction over her and her safety, and maybe she's at college and she ends up at a party and she ends up in a room with another human being and in a dangerous situation. And these people if she's going outside of herself for what's best for her and her safety, and these people don't have her, that safety is not in their best interest, she's going to trust them, and she's going to get put in a position that maybe inside of her body is telling her it's not safe, but she's not connected to listening to that. So she's listening to these people that don't have her safety in their best interest. And she ends up in a room with a human being and in a dangerous situation, and she's trusting what's coming out of their mouth. But deep down, she knows there's something wrong, and she doesn't listen. I want to make sure that she, no matter what's going on around her, where she is, what room she's in, what people are doing, she checks in with herself and says, this doesn't feel right. This is not the decision I want to make. This is not what's best for me. That takes practice. And I think most of us don't practice that because society tells us, maybe it's generational, like I said, for a lot of women, that we don't know enough to make the decision of what's best for us. I want you to be brave. Have faith in yourself. Have full authority over your decisions. And sometimes there is no right or wrong. A lot of times there isn't. It's just a choice. So make a decision, keep moving, and you'll have your back on the other side. Nothing has gone wrong. But when you sit in confusion, when you go outside of yourself to ask other people that are not aligned with your values, you're ending up on a path that doesn't align with you. I want you to think about if this is resonating with you. I hope that this enlightens you to take your power back. If you are looking outside of yourself for others' opinions, for authority over your life, why are you doing it? Do you like your reasons? And really check in with yourself about why you don't have faith in yourself. You can just decide that your choices coming from within yourself is enough. You can decide that at any time, and it does take practice. But living your truth, walking towards your truth feels so freeing. It frees you. It creates more confidence. You move faster in life with the decisions you make. Having full authority, it creates just a really positive, strong self-concept of who you are and what you're capable of. And even if you don't know the decisions or what you think your life should look like, but you know what you're doing, pieces of what you're doing maybe aren't working. I want to give you a little activity that someone I met in a networking event, and I forget her coaching company and what it's called, but she gave us something so simple to work on. Draw a circle. In the circle, put everything that aligns with you, what feels good. Your dream, if it's a dream, if it's who you want to be, if it's things you want to have, material things, if whatever it is, put them inside a circle. List them. Then on the outside, things that you don't want. Maybe it starts with what you don't want. Well, that's going to get you closer to what you do want. Okay? And don't judge what you're writing down. Just literally look at who you are and what aligns with you. A shore house versus spending time at the lake. A big family versus a little family or no family, right? What your partner might look like. Different qualities in their personality. Okay, or a certain business or a job change, and look at the jealousy and the envy that you do have in your life if you don't know. The job that maybe someone went to change jobs and they're in their 40s and they went back to school and you're super jealous. Well, maybe that means you want to go back to school too. Just write it down. That might be possible. You know, money is a huge, huge topic. If you have something innate inside of you that you want to make lots and lots of money, well, that's your God-given right. It doesn't mean you're bad. There's people in this world that think if you want to make lots of money, you are bad, you are greedy, you are selfish. Well, their values don't align with theirs. I wouldn't talk to them about that. Or no, going into that conversation, they're not going to agree with you. They might try to judge you harshly, but they get to decide how much money they want to make, and you get to decide how much money you want to make. If you want to make large sums of money, put it in the circle. This is information, and this is going to help you look at your truth, and then you're going to look at, okay, now I know this is a roadmap to the decisions I'm going to make, and I'm going to put people in my life that are aligned with this, with who I'm going to make my decisions. I have friends in my life that I love them dearly, but they don't help me make my decisions because they're not aligned with where I'm going. And that's okay. So this is a good activity. It's so simple. A circle. Inside, what you like. Oh, I love to go to the lake. Oh, well, I want a shore house. Someone else, right? I know the floor plan of the house I want to buy. I know the business I want to start. I know the book I want to write, the topic, who I want to be, what kind of kids I want to raise. Fill it out, fill it in, and then what I don't like, right? So you can see it's very night and day. And this gives you a lot of information on how you're going to make your decisions. And then you can align, like I said, with the people, put people in your life to help you make those decisions. And so when you do go to them, you're coming from more of a trusting place versus I don't know, I'm not capable, and so let me go to 800 different people to get what they would do. It's amazing how many times I've done that in my life and where it led me. It led me to maybe delaying in months, delaying in years, because I was going outside of myself for what's best for me. And so my goal as a parent is to teach my daughter to know, to learn, to trust, to figure out what is best for her. Because honestly, do I really know? No, I don't know what's best for her. I offer some ideas. Of course, it always comes from a reflection of us as parents. But in the end, it's what's innate in her, what she's attracted to spend her time doing. And her values are being created. And they might be different than mine. And I have to show up in a way that I'm neutral in my parenting to help her flourish and bloom from a place of her own intuition. But that means I have to do it on my own too and show myself that that's a safe road, that I am capable of doing that for myself so that I can instill in her, she is capable of doing it for herself as well. So this is a great topic because when we are in our life, we don't even realize sometimes where we're taking advice, who we're going to outside of ourselves to make decisions for our own life. I hope this maybe enlightened you if you didn't know you were doing this, created some tips on how you can do it, take your power back, so that you can be more aware and have more authority in your life to know what's best for you. And if you don't know what's best for you, where to go to figure it out in a safe, aligned place. And it's okay that we're all different. We all want different things. And there's different priorities. Some people will choose divorce. Some people will never get divorced. And that's just aligned with values. And it's not good or bad. It's all neutral. And you know how many kids we have, whatever the topics are. Okay. So that's it for today. I hope this was enlightening, and have your own back for the decisions you make. Have your own back that you will have all you need inside of you to make your decisions and go live your best life. I'll see you later, guys. Bye. Hold up. Before you go, are you ready to accelerate the road to your goals? Or have you lost momentum and need some extra help? Or maybe you just know you're meant for more but don't know where to start. I can help you. I invite you to a free call with me where we're going to talk about where you are and where you want to be. And at the end of that call, you're going to have a ton of clarity, you're going to feel relieved, and you're going to know the steps to take to get you where you want to go. And then you decide if working with me is the right fit or not. No sweat. Go to my website, AllisonGallagher.com/coaching, or the link to my calendar and to connect with me is in the show notes. It is time to stop dreaming about the life you want and start taking steps in that direction. Let's go. This is Allison Cratchola Gallagher and the You Get to Decide podcast. Thanks for listening. I'll see you guys later. Bye.